Hey, back, it's me, and well, it's another episode of What I Have Watched. So, let's get on with it. The first one is a film that I absolutely love. I've watched this a lot over the years, and this is Dr. Terror's House of Horror from 1965. And this stars, well, Peter Cushing, as you can see on there. But it's an anthology horror. And this is Amicus' first anthology film, I say 1965. Absolutely fantastic. It's written by Milton Subotsky, who was one of the producers and one of these people who managed to get all this together as he did with Amicus. It's directed by Freddie Francis. Freddie Francis just directed some great films. Paranoia, 1963. Nightmare, 1963. The Evil of Frankenstein, brilliant, 1964. The Skull, 1965. That's got Peter Cushing in that one. That's brilliant. The Deadly Bees, 1966. Torture Garden, 1967, which is an Amicus film. I think, yeah, it's one of the. It's one that I'm not quite as keen on. The stories not as strong as this one, anyhow. And then Dracula Has Arisen from the Grave, 1968. The infamous Trog, that pops up so much, 1970. The Creeping Flash, which is great, 1972. Tales That Witness Madness, 1973. Craze, yeah, that's brilliant, 1974. And The Ghoul, I love The Ghoul, Jacqueline Pierce, 1975. So, Freddie Francis, absolutely great director. So, we have these various stories. We've got a werewolf story. We've got a creeping vine, which is good. The plants, you can't beat a bit of plants. You got voodoo, and then you've got a vampire one, which is, the vampire one's interesting because it's perhaps got the most humor in it, which is interesting. So in terms of actors, in Werewolf, we've got Neil McCallan, who was in Catacombs, 1965, just a few highlights. The Lost Continent, 1968. We've got Ursula Howells, which is, well, we're in Torture Garden, which we mentioned. Assignment K, 1968. And Cross Pilot, 1969. And then we've also got Anne Bell. She's in The Creeping Vine. She was in The Witches, which is absolutely brilliant. I love The Witches. To Sir With Love, 1967. The Reckoning, 1970. Then we've got Bernard Lee. Yes, Bernard Lee. We always link him with James Bond as M, the boss, of course. He plays Hopkins. He's in it. And then we've got an interesting choice. We've got Alan Freeman, or Alan Fluff Freeman, if you want to call it that, who plays this interesting character, I would say. I don't think his acting is that great, to be honest, but he's in it. is in it anyhow. So that's it. And in Voodoo, we have notoriously got Roy Castle. Oh, Record Breakers. Don't forget, he went on after this to Doctor Who with Peter Cushing. Aha, yes, in the film, the cinema films. What can I say about Roy Castle? Um, we've also got Christopher Lee in The Disembodied Hand, which is really good, and Michael Gough. Michael Gough, whew, wow, what an actor. All sorts of appearances. I was thinking of him in terms of Doctor Who and things like that, of course. Absolutely brilliant. And then in the vampire story, we've got Donald Sutherland. Wow, Donald Sutherland in 1965. Very beginning of his career. And he's in this country doing films before he went on to great things, as we know of Donald Sutherland. And also there's Max Adrian, who was in Henry V, 1944, Pool of London, 1951, The Music Lovers, 1971, and The Devils, The Notorious Devils, 1971. So that's really good as well. The epilogue, I have to mention as well, right at the end, when it all comes together back inside the carriage, the train, because that's where it starts. They all board this train, and there he is, Peter Cushing, and he happens to have these tarot cards with him, like you do, you know, and each one is read a tarot card. The reading, they tap it, and but there seems to be rather a twist to all this, because he never shows them what the final card is, and we see it. It's death, so that is hanging over the story. I love this. I've always loved it. It works so well. They're all really, I think, good stories. The acting's great, even apart from Alan Freeman, but and Roy Castle is funny. But I like the idea of the Roy Castle story. Is really good. I like that about the music and the jazz, the tune, the voodoo tune. I think that's really a really good idea. But the whole thing, I've always loved this ever since I saw it on the TV at first, going back all those years ago, and then I got my own copy here. Really love this. So anyway, let's go to the next one. So I suppose it's inevitable. There's always westerns, isn't there? And here we have Garden of Evil. This is from 1954. It's written by Frank Fenton, and it's directed by Henry Hathaway. Now, Henry Hathaway directed China Girl, which we've covered before, Black Rose, 1950, China Girl was 1942, actually, The Desert Fox, The Story of Rommel, 1951, James Mason, I've got to say it, James Mason. Rawhide, 1951, which is a classic western. Legend of the Lost, 1957. How the West Was Won, 1962, a fantastic western. The Rivers, the Plains, and that is 1962 as well. We've got Circus World, 1964, and of course a real classic, True Grit, from 1969. Absolutely wonderful John Wayne film. He also did Raid on Rommel, 1971, which of course has Richard Burton in. Absolutely brilliant. Those are just some of the films Henry Hathaway directed. So in this Garden of Evil, we've also got the ever reliable in these westerns, Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper, He's just brilliant. He's like in many ways, a lot of people say that John Wayne kind of, in the end, overtook him in terms of westerns and that. But Gary Cooper, I think, is absolutely fantastic. He's so reliable, great actor. And then I have to mention the other actor who I think is great, Richard Widmark, who plays this gambler. He is absolutely brilliant as always. There's something about Richard Widmark. He always stands out to me. Whatever, he's not always in a prominent role, but in this one, he's quite a big role. But when he's on screen, you know he's there. He has that effect. I just think Richard Widmark is great. Then we've got Susan Haywood. She was in Rawhide 1951, another classic there, as I mentioned. Demetrius and the Gladiators 1954, Victor Mature, great film. The Honeypot 1967, Valley of the Dolls 1967, cult classic there. And The Revengers from 1972, which again is another great film. Well, what can I say? What is this story about? Well, this woman, she comes along and hires this group, what you call them, the NX lawman, the gambler, bounty hunter, and she hires them to rescue her husband, who is trapped in a collapsed mine. Because, you know, these mines, the gold mines, everybody was into gold. You know, have you noticed in so many westerns, gold pops up? It does. Everybody's into gold. They're obsessed. Gold. We're always there. So here we are again, another western with gold in it. This is just such an enjoyable western. You can't help but love it. All the intrigue about it, the characters. I loved it. I really do. I just think it's such a good western. Absolutely wonderful. Now, the next one we're going to look at might surprise some people, but I think it's a real classic. It's Wuthering Heights. This is from 1939. There's been a lot of versions, which I have to confess I've not seen, but this is the one I'm really attached to. This is the 1939 version, and it's based on the novel by Emily Bronte from 1847. The screenplay is by Charles MacArthur, Ben Hecht, and John Huston. And it's directed by a director who is just incredible, William Wyler. That director, just the name, the classic films that he directed. He goes right back to 1925, which is amazing. It really is. His first film was The Crook Buster in 1925, so he's in the silent era. Oh, wow. Where can I start? He was director of Dodsworth, 1936. Dead End, 1937. Jezebel, 1938. The Westerner, 1940. Roman Holiday, that is a class, 1953. The Desperate Hours, Desperate Hours, Bogey, man, 1955. Ben-Hur, I've just said it, Ben-Hur, 1959. Is there any more classic, epic film than that? That Ben-Hur, what a masterpiece. He was also the director of The Collector, 1965. He was director of How to Steal a Million, 1966. And Funny Girl, 1968. I mean, what a selection of different types of films. Absolutely wonderful director. It's so amazing to see that. Anyhow, what we got the cast? We've got Merle Oberon, who plays Kathy. Merle Oberon, she was raised in India, in her career, and she always hid her origins, which is an interesting the way it was perceived in Hollywood at that time. She felt that it would be detrimental to her work, which is an interesting look at Hollywood. Um, she was in The Scarlet Pimpernel, 1934, Lydia, 1941, Dark Waters, 1944, Berlin Express, 1948. We've come across that a few times. Desiree, 1954. The Price of Fear, 1956. Hotel, oh yeah, Hotel, that pops up, 1967. And Interval, 1973. And then we've got two actors that you just think of them as essentially British actors. I mean, we have got here Laurence Olivier and David Niven early in their careers, and they just represent everything so British. And their careers, I mean, I can't even go through all the films. There's so many films that they were in. I'm going to give them that respect because I just love their work, and that is just an absolute ton. Olivier was well renowned as an actor on the stage, and then the transitions to films are still doing. That was an amazing. David Niven just had such a wonderful long career as well. They represent so many good things that you can't help that. And in this story, they are brilliant rivals for the affection of Kathy. And essentially people say, oh yeah, it's just a love story, it's that, but it's a lot more than that. It's got a lot more deeper things to say. I just have to mention, as a Yorkshireman, of course, it's supposedly set on Yorkshire moors, but of course it's clearly not the Yorkshire moors, it's in America. Yeah, so we don't get that. We see a hill that they go up on, and that's it. That's York. Bayek, that's got it wrong there. But anyhow, going on. This, if you asked to describe this film, it is full of atmosphere, and I like that so much. I think that's why it stands out. And I'm going to say I love all types of films. And when they've got this classic feel like this and are brilliant, then I'm in. I don't get, I like all sorts of films. And, this film is great. Well, I've not seen loads of other versions, but this is just special for me. So there we are. Right. Now, the next film is another really interesting film, which a lot of people possibly have not even heard of. This is Shake Hands with the Devil from 1959. It's based on a 1933 novel, and it's set in 1921. Now, 1921 is the Irish War of Independence era. It's that after the First World War, the effects in Ireland, they're pushing for getting their independence, which they finally get. It's got a wonderful cast. Absolutely wonderful. It's got James Cagney, the legendary James Cagney in it. Wow. What can I say? But before I go on to that, I normally have my format, I've got to go into the director, and then we'll get onto James Cagney, because the director is Michael Anderson. Wow, look at these films that he has directed. The Dam Busters, classic war film, 1955. He directed 1984 in 1956 as well, which is a great film. Around the World in 80 Days, always comes up, 1956. Operation Crossbow, what a war film, 1965. Pope Joe, 1972. Doc Savage, The Man of Bronze, 1975. And the film that so many people love, sci-fi classic Logan's Run, 1976. Orca, that's popular, 1979. He directed the TV miniseries The Martian Chronicles from 1980, which is brilliant, stars Rock Hudson in that. And a film that I absolutely love, but nobody mentions it that much, but it is an absolute classic, is Millennium from 1989. What a film that is. If anybody gets a chance to watch that film, watch it. It is really special. Absolutely love Millennium. Oh yeah. So that's the director. As I said, I had to say at the beginning, James Cagney, what a legend. Just listening to some of his films, and the thing about James Cagney, he was very versatile. He did all sorts of roles. The Public Enemy, 1931, is one that stands out a lot. And then he was in St. Louis Kid, 1934. He was in Angels with Dirty Faces, 1938, which again is a very popular film. He was in The Roaring Twenties, 1939. He was in Yankee Doodle Dandy, 1942. Musicals. He was in musicals as well. Yeah. He was in White Heat, 1949, which is one of the all-time classic gangster films. He was in 123, 1961, and Ragtime. You see, there we are again. Ragtime, 1981. Just such an amazing career. And what I like about this film, he's playing a very unlovable character. Really, he's not a lovable character at all. There's no, I don't think, redeeming features much at all in him, which is great, and acting doing that. Anyway, we've got Don Murray, who was in Bus Stop from 1956, Marilyn Monroe. He was in Escape from East Berlin in 1962, The Plainsman, 1966, The Viking Queen, oh wow, yeah, 1967, and a film that I love as well, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. What a series that was. That's from 1972. And Peggy Sue Got Married. I like that one as well, 1986. Then we've got Glynis Johns. Glynis Johns. Wow. Another actress that just pops up in some way. I think. She was in South Riding, 1935. She was in The Halfway House, 1944. She was in Frida. Yeah, Frida, 1947. Miranda, 1948, which I know is sort of a comedy, a mermaid one. As The Beachcomber, 1954. Around the World in 80 Days, everybody, it seems. And of course, Mary Poppins, 1964. She's in Mary Poppins, yes. And of course, she's in The Vault of Horror, anthology horror, which I love. And Superstar, 1999. Brilliant. And then we've got another actress who just, well, what can I say? Dana Winter, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956. And Sink the Bismarck, 1960. But also a lot of TV series as well. Absolutely amazing. What can I say? I just love it. So this film, I think, is a film that you kind of want to know about and see, if you like me, in terms of its historical background. And this is an important moment in Irish history leading up to that independence. I mean, Ireland had been on such a struggle for independence effectively for many years. And of course, 1921, it gets its full independence. Though, of course, even that is not without problems, because we get the Protestant-led Northern Ireland wanting to remain in the United Kingdom. And we get that, and we've still got that conflict there. Ireland had to settle on it not being part of it, but there's a lot of Irish nationalism still there. And of course, we've got the IRA then continue their terrorism attacks, or as they would say it, they say it's carrying on the struggle. But, if you were in the 1970s, living in 1970s, about the IRA bombings and all that. And there was eventually a ceasefire, which happened. They got an agreement. I'm trying to remember the year. Tony Blair was involved in all that. They managed to get this agreement, this Anglo-Irish agreement, and it brought an end to all the troubles in Northern Ireland, which, to be honest, seemed impossible at one time. So that is a very positive thing. But this is just an interesting film. I just found it absolutely fascinating. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So, the next film, what have we got here? We've got, well, I suppose it's inevitable, again, another Western. But, interesting one. This is called A Man Called Sledge. It's from 1970. It's classed as an Italian spaghetti Western. It's written by Vic Morrow and Frank Kolaski, and it's directed by Vic Morrow. Now, Vic Morrow is an interesting person to talk about. He directed Hell's 5 Hours, 1958, Death Watch, 1966, Curse of the Black Widow, 1977, The Evictors, 1979. And he also was an actor. And he was an actor in the film Twilight Zone, the movie, 1983. And there was a helicopter crash and he died. So he effectively died in the making of the Twilight Zone, which, the movie, Twilight Zone, the movie, and which was a major sort of concern in Hollywood at the time. The compensation and all sorts, legal background, all this affected that movie. I must admit, it's a movie that I really like. Spielberg was involved in that film as well. A lot of directors who paid tribute to the Twilight Zone. It is a film that I really like, but that's an interesting background to that. So he was a director as well as an actor and directed this film. So we have got James Garner, who plays the character Luther Sledge. Now, if you look at his films, is interesting. He was in Up Periscope, 1951, not the whole. And I think perhaps everybody knows him in The Great Escape, 1963. Also, he's in Duel at Diabolo, which I think I've mentioned before, 1966. A film I also remember, Grand Prix, 1966. I remember my dad taking me to see the cinema, taking me to watch that in the cinema. I perhaps wasn't quite as keen on it, but my dad was. He loved Grand Prix racing. But I remember going along, that was in 1966. I was 6 years old. But there we are. And my dad got me into cinema. And then Hour of the Gun, 1967. Support Your Local Sheriff. Yes, I know that film, 1968. And Support Your Local Gunfighter, 1971. Also, The Castaway Cowboy, 1974. Victoria, 1982. I think that's Julie Andrews in that one. Maverick. He did a film version of Maverick, 1994. Space Cowboys, 2000. The Notebook, 2004. And I mentioned Maverick because he was well known as the TV series. The TV series ran from 1957 to 1961. He was involved in that. And then later on, a series I absolutely loved watching, I remember watching it, The Rockford Files, between 1974 and 1980. And there were also TV films from The Rockford Files. It kept going. So, yeah. Then we've got Dennis Weaver, who plays Irwin Ward. Dennis Weaver, again, a character you may recognise. He was in, let's have a look, Dragnet, 1954, Seven Angry Men, 1955, Touch of Evil, Touch of Evil, 1958, Duel at Diablo, 1966, and Duel, I think he's really well known, 1971, Steven Spielberg's debut director film. Duel has been seen it on TV lots of times. I did back in the days in that. He was also, in terms of TV, in Gunsmoke. He made 290 episodes. And then the other one, which I used to love, I enjoyed this, he was in McCloud, 1970, 1977, 46 episodes. I do remember him well in that. Then we've got Claude Akins, who plays Hooker. Now, they were in, he was in The Caine Mutiny, 1954, The Human Jungle, 1954, Johnny Concho, 1956, The Defiant Ones, 1958, some amazing films here, Rio Bravo, 1959, Porgy and Bess, 1959, The Killers, yes, the brilliant The Killers, 1964, The Devil's Brigade, a great film, 1968, The Night Stalker, 1972, and, if you like me, you'll love this, Battle of the Planet of the Apes, 1973. Love those original Planet of the Apes films. He was in The Curse, 1987, and Seasons of the Arts, 1993. Absolutely wonderful. Then we have got Laura Ancelli, who plays Rhea. Now, she was in Venus in Furs, 1969. Ballet, 1970, Secret Fantasy, 1971, The Eroticist, 1972, Simona, 1975, Hypochondriac, 1979, The Trap, 1985, and The Miser, 1990. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. What can I say? Beautiful actress. Absolutely beautiful. Then we've got John Marley, who plays the old man. He's quite important in this film. He was in The Mob, 1951. I Want to Live, 1958. Cat Ballou, yes, 1965. Love Story, and of course, The Godfather, 1972. The Godfather, what an all-time classic film. Brilliant film. One of the great films of all time. He was in The Greatest, 1977 as well. He was in Hooper, 1978, On the Edge, 1986, and a lot of TV series and TV films. This is, what a career. So, this film, I think, is interesting because James Garner has said, and he didn't enjoy this film at all, making this film. He did it. And you can see why, because James Garner is not playing his usual kind of character. It's a very straight role. His character is not particularly likable character, which I don't think James Garner, probably wishes he'd have made. It seems like he wished he hadn't made this. Which, there we are. But, if you enjoy Westerns, I think you'll enjoy it despite that. And expecting a James Garner performance which is different from what you normally get, then I really like it. The story is what it is. He plays this character who gets together this his gang. He normally has this, like they do. They have a gang, and here we are again. Gold. Back to the gold. There's gold in it, and they discover that there's an opportunity to get some gold, and it's on its journey. There's all these riders. There's a mass. I think there's 40 riders surrounding this transportation of the gold. How on earth are you going to get that? But on its journey, it has to go into a secure place for the night, which is this prison. And then the scheme is come up that if they break into the prison, get into the prison, and then they can take the gold, and that's it. They're off. It's all going to work out fine, isn't it? What a plan. But does it work out fine? Yes. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, and okay, yeah. You can say about James Garner playing out of character, but I think it's a film that you can just enjoy. I really enjoyed it. It's another Western take, and it's always good to see. And you can't go wrong really. And that absolutely loved it. And then what are we going to do now? We're going to talk about the last film. When you're thinking, thank God it's been going on for hours, and I have. It seems like this film is called Payroll from 1961. It's a crime thriller. It's written by George Bax. It's based on a novel, Payroll, by Derek Bickerton. It's directed by Sidney Hayers, who directed Violent Moment, 1959. Circus of Horrors, which is a great one, 1960. Night of the Eagle, that comes up a lot, 1962. Finders Keepers, 1966. All Coppers Are, yes, I've got that. It's on a network release, 1972. And then a lot of TV series and TV films as a director. It stars Michael Craig, who plays Johnny. He was in Passage 1955, a massive career. Yield to the Night, that pops up a lot, 1955. That is absolutely brilliant film. Eyewitness, 1956. Campbell's Kingdom, 1957. The Silent Enemy, 1958. Sapphire, 1959. That's the racism film, really ahead of its time, Sapphire. The Angry Silence, 1960. The Iron Maiden, 1962. The Captain City, 1962 as well. Stolen Hours, 1963. Modesty Blaze, 1966, which is a Losi film. A Town Called Bastard, 1971. The Vault of Horror, 1975. Which is an anthology horror, brilliant. Fourth Wish, 1976. Turkey Shoot, 1982. An Appointment with Death, 1988. And then we've got Francois Prevost, who plays Katie. Absolutely, she's really good. Absolutely wonderful in this role. French actress, beautiful in this. She's in The Enemy General, 1960. Time Out for Love, 1961. The Game of Truth, 1961. Paris Belongs to Us, 1961. The Glass Cage, 1961. Johnny Hamlet, 1968. A Woman on Fire, 1969. The Sinful Nuns of St. Valentine, 1974. And Merry-Go-Round, 1981. And then we've got Billie Whitelaw. Oh, Billie Whitelaw, early role playing Jackie. She was in Flash and Fiends, 1960. Hell is a City. Oh, great film, 1960. No Love for Johnny, another film I've covered, 1961. Love that. Charlie Bubbles, which comes up a lot, 1967. Gumshoe, 1961. Frenzy, Hitchcock film, absolutely one of his best, 1972. Night Watch, 1973. And of course, she was in the brilliant, fantastic The Omen, 1976. Oh, what a film. Absolutely one of my all-time favourite films. She was in The Dark Crystal, 1987, as a voice. Dressmaker, 1988. And of course, she was memorable in The Craze. Yeah, The Craze, 1990. Absolutely loved her in Craze. And Quills, 2000. And she was in Hot Fuzz. I bet you didn't know that one. Hot Fuzz, she was in that. The Cornetto trilogy film, 2007. Yeah, brilliant. And then we've got William Lucas, who plays Pearson. He was in X the Unknown, 1956. Breakout, 1959. Sons and Lovers, 1960. Shadow of the Cat, which is a brilliant film, 1961. Night of the Big Heat, yeah, 1967. That is brilliant. That's got Cushing and Lee in that. Christopher Lee, of course. Peter Cushing. Tower of Evil, 1972. Man at the Top, 1973. And he was one of the voices in The Plague Dogs, the Richard Adams story, 1982, which is really good. Also, for you Doctor Who fans, he was in Frontiers, 1984. Classic Doctor Who, of course, Peter Davison. So that is a great cast. This film is also, I think, a groundbreaking film because it was filmed in Newcastle. So we have this period where films are now being not in the south, in London and all that area. We've got one up north. Hey, back. It's in Geordieland though. Wayman. And then the locations really add to the film. And this is it's a straightforward film, really. You've got the setup of doing the job. It's this van. It's got all the payroll, all the money that they're going to rob. It's got a new system working. It's a new van. There's somebody inside the van. It's the first part of the film is looking the setup to it, and then when they do the job, the next part of the film is the aftermath, and that is kind of great. As you can expect, it probably all falls apart, and it does. It does, but it's great. A wonderful film, really enjoyable period piece from 1961, and I just love seeing the 60s, and especially now seeing it in Newcastle. You can't go wrong, can you? You can't go wrong. Love it. And that's it. I've gone on too long. God, yes. So that's all what I've watched this week. Hope you've enjoyed it. Now, if you have, please give it a like. It's good for my channel. Gets it out to YouTube so other people might enjoy it. And if you're new to the channel, why not subscribe? And then we'll let you know when I put out videos. Also, if you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments, and I always reply to them. And that's it. So all I've got to say is, I'll see you again.